MSME कैश मैनेजमेंट। तो यहाँ पे कुछ सवाल जवाब रहेंगे, जहाँ पे जो हमारे को प्रॉब्लम्स माइक्रो स्मॉल मीडियम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के अंदर आ रही हैं, उनके कैश फ्लो को हम कैसे मैनेज कर सकते हैं, कैसे उन प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, और आने वाले टाइम में ये कैसे हमारे को हेल्प करेंगी। इस सेशन में मेन जो है एजेंडा वो यही बना रहेगा। तो आई मूव फॉरवर्ड विद द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन ओवर हियर, व्हाई SMEs आर फेसिंग कैश फ्लो मैनेजमेंट इश्यूज। ये सवाल मेरा गर्ग साहब से रहेगा।
Yes, and thank you for putting the question. SMEs face the vicious circle of credit. Vicious circle of credit, as we were talking just now, that they have to supply on credit and they purchase on cash. And credit is delayed. And nowadays there is a concept of predated checks. SMEs are being paid through predated checks, sir.
Okay.
That is another reason, because check is valid for 30 days,
Right.
90 days. And SME payment can be made within, as per the law, can be made within a fixed time, and the period can be 45 days. Means 45th day check is being delivered on 85th day, where 5 days are remaining.
Okay.
So because of that bad practice, which is still being followed by mid-sized companies, the SMEs are facing increasing difficulty of this cash flow management. I call it vicious circle of credit.
यहाँ पे मैं थोड़ा सा एलैबोरेट करना चाहूँगा। जैसे कि आप लोग जानते हैं कि MSME गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स के अंदर एक MSME रजिस्ट्रेशन होती है, जहाँ पे आप अपनी कंपनी को रजिस्टर करते हैं एज एन MSME, माइक्रो स्मॉल मीडियम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स। उस कैटेगरी में रजिस्टर करने के बाद आपको 45 डेज़ की डेडलाइन मिलती है, जहाँ पे आपके सप्लायर्स को आपको 45 डेज़ के अंदर ही पेमेंट करना होता है। ज़्यादातर इसमें जो कंपनीज आती हैं वो प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनीज और लिमिटेड कंपनीज ही आती हैं, जिनको अपनी क्वार्टरली रिटर्न्स के अंदर ये बताना पड़ता है कि हमने 45 डेज़ के अंदर MSME की पेमेंट्स क्यों नहीं करी। इसके लिए प्रॉपर उनको रिटर्न्स फाइल करनी पड़ती हैं और एक वैलिड रीज़न भी देना पड़ता है। तो यहाँ पे मैं समझना चाहूँगा कि अगर इस तरह का कैश फ्लो नहीं आता तो फिर MSMEs कैसे सर्वाइव करेंगे, क्योंकि वो तो अपने पेपर्स को जस्टिफाई कर ही देते हैं कि बाय शोइंग द बैलेंस शीट्स, बाय शोइंग द बैंक बैलेंसेस एंड अदर इश्यूज, जहाँ पे वो जस्टिफाई करते हैं कि हमारे साथ ये कैश फ्लो की प्रॉब्लम्स थी तो हमने MSME को पेमेंट नहीं करी। लेकिन MSME के अंदर 45 डेज़ की जो डेडलाइन से टर्न अराउंड टाइम जो है वो गवर्नमेंट का मैंडेटरी है कि आपको 45 डेज़ के अंदर उसको क्लियर करना ही है। तो इस तरह के कैश फ्लो को हम कैसे कवर कर सकते हैं सर, इस पर थोड़ी रोशनी आप डालिए।
Is it audible? Yeah. Okay, thanks. देखिए, I think it's a very, very valid point. As we were just discussing before the session started, 13 lakh crore is stuck in the market, and as per a study last year by Dun & Bradstreet and a couple of other people, on account of poor collections, right? You may have a contract, you may have a credit period, but fact of the matter is that today in India, contract enforceability is one of the poorest in the world. What can you do? You have a 30-day credit period or a 60-day credit period. You don't get paid. What do? You go for litigation. 5 lakh invoices, as I was telling you, Lokesh, are generated every month in India. Sorry, 5 billion invoices. My bad. Okay. Out of that, 60 to 70% are never paid on time, right? And out of those 60 to 70% which are never paid on time, 3 to 4% are such invoices where they get into litigation. Right? And the problem is that SMEs actually get into that whole, cash flow trap. So if you're not able to maintain that cash flow equilibrium, कि अगर आप inflows outflows match नहीं कर पाते जैसे कि आपने बताया, it's a very bad situation. If you have a robust balance sheet, a large balance sheet, you're still able to withstand that shock. लेकिन अगर कोई SME आज की तारीख में cash flow imbalances से suffer कर रहा है, it's the biggest problem for the business. See, there are 2 C's which are very important. One is capital. It's every SME today, every MSME today is looking for growth capital. So that is a key requirement. The second requirement is cash flow. So if you're not able to manage your cash flows, everything goes for a toss. I mean, even for growth capital today, we all know non-collateralized lending has become very popular, right? So you don't need to block your capital. But fact of the matter is, you don't need to give a collateral. But अगर आपके पास cash flow नहीं है, you can't even access non-collateralized lending. But today, cash flow based financing is becoming so popular. So if you have a good cash flow, you're able to access good lending even from various institutions. I don't know if you have any NBFCs or banks in the room, But non-collateralized lending today is becoming a lifeline for all SMBs.
ओके, दिस इज ओपन फोरम। मैं एक चीज़ पूछना चाहूँगा सभी से, यहाँ पे कितने हैं जो एमएसएमई बिजनेस के अंदर है? एक बार हाथ खड़ा करेंगे। वाओ, ह्यूज अमाउंट। सर, मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे रहेगा कि आने वाले टाइम में जैसे आप बिजनेस को रन कर ही रहे हैं अभी, कहीं ना कहीं आपको रॉ मटेरियल के लिए कैश पेमेंट्स करनी होती होंगी, और आपकी क्रेडिट लाइन जो है वो नॉर्मली 60 डेज, 90 डेज, 120 डेज में रहती है। नेचुरली ये प्रॉब्लम सभी फेस करते हैं। इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स को कर्व करने के लिए आपने क्या सोचा है?
So we run a company, I run a company now, a fintech company called Escrow Pay. We basically have a use case for SMBs and business owners where they can actually use an escrow mechanism for managing their cash flows. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, you could, yeah.
आप जरा अपना एक व्यू पॉइंट दीजिएगा।
We manage the small and entities, our turnover is about 20 crores, and at any given point in time, our credit in the market is about 6 crores. So roughly the timeline is about, people say 30 days, but even IRCTC and all, they delay your payments. What do? You have to survive in the market. You can't really antagonize them. You can't go against them, and you do suffer. With the result, what's happening is that your expansion, your growth plans, they get hampered. Thank you.
सर, जैसे कि आपके एस्क्रो अकाउंट्स को लेके एक नए सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप हुए हुए हैं जहाँ पे कि हम बिल ऑफ लैंडिंग्स या हमारी जो एलसीज होती है उनको डिस्काउंट कर सकते हैं या बिल डिस्काउंटिंग्स कर सकते हैं, उसके ऊपर थोड़ी रोशनी डालेंगे जो एसएमईज को हेल्प कर सकेंगी, जहाँ पे हमारी टाइट लाइन 90 डेज की है एंड वी आर डीलिंग विद द गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स, और मे बी वी आर एक्सपोर्टिंग द स्टफ टू द अदर कंट्रीज, मे बी सार्क कंट्रीज और मे बी कंट्रीज विच आर अप्रूव्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया। तो वहाँ पे हम बिल्स को डिस्काउंट करें, उनकी पेमेंट्स को कैसे इसके अकाउंट्स में हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं, इस पर थोड़ी रोशनी डालना चाहेंगे।
बिल डिस्काउंटिंग टुडे, रिसीवेबल फाइनेंसिंग इज अ वेरी वेरी बिग इंस्ट्रूमेंट फॉर रेजिंग कैपिटल। अब मान लीजिए आप टियर 1 एंकर से काम कर रहे हैं, किसी भी डाबर है, मैरिको है, हिंदुस्तान लीवर, और इवन द गवर्नमेंट फॉर दैट मैटर, the surety of that bill or that invoice being paid is absolutely guaranteed. So let's say Lokesh runs an NBFC, I go and talk to him saying that, look, I don't have collateral to give, I don't want to block my capital, I want to discount my bill and invoices because I need working capital. He looks at my profile, he looks at the profile of the anchors that I work with, let's say a Dabur, Marico, or a tier 1 anchors as they're called. You discount those bills, the line of credit is extended and disbursed to me. After 60 or 90 days, when the anchor pays, or the invoice is mature and it is due for being paid, it falls directly into an escrow account that we power with NBFC. So the NBFC is happy. They are also able to, kind of securitize their collections. The borrower is happy because they get a line of credit against their invoices which are due. The anchor is also happy because ultimately, whatever they are paying goes into a bona fide account and all three parties, are happy. So I think invoice discounting, supply chain financing is, a new flavor where people don't have to block their collateral, they don't have to block capital, and they can actually get into cash flow based financing methods. Now cash flow, yeah, please.
Sir, what sort of cost does it entail?
So it can differ. I mean, we're not an NBFC, so I'm really not a subject matter expert, but we work with a lot of NBFCs. So typically it ranges anywhere between, let's say, 14-15% to about 20-22%, right? So there's a range.
That's pretty high. That's pretty high to say.
Yeah, it is high. It is high, but again, the downside or the upside is you're not blocking any capital, you're not blocking any collateral, and if you're working with tier 1 anchors, there is a very, very good and a robust mechanism for discounting your cash flows. Which is why, again, coming back to the main question, that cash flow is king, right? So if you're not able to have cash flows and if your cash flow mismatches are there, what do? It's a lifeline. So which is where somebody, as I was telling you, somebody like us, we encourage a lot of SMBs, we are working with a lot of SMBs, digital first businesses, startups, etc. We tell them that please insist on working on an escrow mechanism. The problem today is, we all know escrow is not a new mechanism, it's a very old mechanism. Escrows have been used for large ticket transactions, M&A, cross-border transactions and so on and so forth. But it has never been used at a small level. It's never been democratized. And whatever escrow mechanisms are today available from banks, it's a very, very cumbersome process. आप बैंक के पास जाते हैं अपने banker के पास, unlike a linear product which is available with your branch, escrow is always driven from the HO, because there are contracts, etc. एक escrow account खोलने में कम से कम नहीं सो आपको 1.5 से 2 महीना लग जाता है खोलने में. Forget a solution. So I think that is what people like us are trying to, solve for. We've created a digital platform. So let's say you're an MSME, you want to open an escrow account. We give a digital layer on top of the banking backbone. You're registering immediately. You can invite the counterparty comes in, registers on the platform. They create an escrow mechanism, and when both parties agree and the terms are met, they give us release instructions, we release the money. So it's a win-win for both buyers and sellers.
सिंह साहब, यहाँ पे थोड़ी मैं रोशनी डालना चाहूँगा। जिस तरह की इन्होंने अभी फैसिलिटीज़ की बात करी, यहाँ पे ना थोड़ा टाइम घट जाता है। जैसे आप बैंक्स के थ्रू ये प्रोसेस कराते हैं तो 2 से 2.5 महीने का टाइम लगता है। यहाँ पे अगर हम लेके चलें इनसे 15 या 20 दिन के अंदर ये टाइम क्लोज करते हैं, टर्न अराउंड टाइम इनका 15 डेज़ का रहता है, तो कहीं ना कहीं आपका 45 दिन का जो पैसा फंसता है वो कहीं ना कहीं रिलीज होने के चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं, टू विच रियली हेल्प्स यू टू लोअर डाउन द कॉस्ट ऑफ बोरोइंग ऑल्सो। मेरा यहाँ पे सेकंड सवाल रहेगा गर्ग साहब से। गर्ग साहब, लेट पेमेंट इश्यूज़ एसएमई में एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है, जिसकी वजह से उनकी जो रेपुटेशन है वो कहीं ना कहीं हैम्पर होती है। इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स को हम कैसे कैटर कर सकते हैं?
देखिए, 2 इशू हैं। पहले जो अभी आप बात कर रहे थे कि गवर्नमेंट ने भी एक ट्रीट्स प्लेटफॉर्म्स बनाए हुए हैं। मेरे को नहीं पता कितने लोगों ने ट्रीट्स प्लेटफॉर्म यूज़ किया, बट दिस इज़ वंडरफुल प्लेटफॉर्म। और वहाँ पर आपका जो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट YOY बेसिस पे 7 से 9% के बीच में पड़ता है। 3 ट्रीट्स प्लेटफॉर्म्स आर अवेलेबल।
सर, ट्रीट प्लेटफॉर्म्स को ना थोड़ा सा एलैबोरेट करके बताइए, बिकॉज इट सीम्स लाइक अ न्यू टर्मिनोलॉजी फॉर द पीपल सिटिंग अराउंड देयर। थोड़ा सा एलैबोरेट करेंगे तो इट विल मेक इजियर फॉर देम टू अंडरस्टैंड इट।
Reserve Bank of India, in association with MSME Ministry, has developed 3 trade receivable discounting system platforms. These are online platforms. One is Invoice Mart, second one is RXIL, third one is M1 Exchange. And some of my clients, because I am into practice for last 25 years, we have taken them, hand-holded them for Treats platform, not only for registration, but till their internal staff gets trained to get the bill discounted. The rate of interest which you pay over there is between 7 to 8% nowadays on YOY basis. Second point, that when you take the discounting of the bills, this do not affect your balance sheet, because neither on credit side nor on debit side, neither asset side nor liability side, anywhere it is not to be reflected.
Agreed.
Number 2. Number 3, now coming to question which you have put to me, that this question is that if there is delay, what to do? In case of delay, the government has developed a system which is known as MSME Samadhan. Very recently, the case went where it was a question of debate whether the MSME facilitation councils have the right to appoint the arbitrator. And this has been, the decision is, verdict is in favor of the MSME facilitation councils, that they have the right not only for mediation but also for arbitration. What are the advantages of using this facilitation council? Number 1, that you need not pay the commitment money for civil recovery case, which is now 4 to 8%. Suppose your amount to be recovered is 60 lakh rupees. Before you start the case, before you pay to your lawyer, you need to submit 5% of the money, 3 lakh rupees, again big amount for a MSME. That is not required to be paid. The fees which is required to be paid to MSC Facilitation Council, you can find out in your respective states MSC, because this facility is only for micro and small, not for medium. Therefore, the name is MSC Facilitation Council. And here the fees in northern states is between 2,500 to 5,000 rupees, which is to be paid to Facilitation Council. And here another advantage, that you need not hire the lawyer. You can argue your case yourself, or your officer can argue on your behalf. So then MSME saves on 2 points. And third point where saving comes, the trend, the macro trend says that 60% of the cases which reaches to MSME Facilitation Council gets resolved within 6 months. And more than 90% of the cases, the payment is released within 2 years. If the matter goes to arbitration, then it takes around 2 years. And if mediation, with mediation it is resolved, But MSME also need to understand. Sir, here I am giving 3 out of box ideas how to manage the cash flow.
Yes, this is a very important.
Yeah. First out of box idea is remove one client per year. Remove one client, the bad pay master, delete it from your customer list. You don't need it because he is just damaging your cash flow. Second is revisit your scrap yard every month. Revisit your scrap yard every month. And the third out of box idea is any machine which you have not used for 6 months. Any machine which you have not used for 6 months, you are not going to use it for life. Discard it, monetize it. That will add to your cash flow. And space will also be empty, which can be used for other things.
Maybe rental,
Yes,
which will help them to generate the money on monthly basis to meet their other expenses.
yes,
Right. यहाँ पे मेरा गर्ग साहब दूसरा सवाल रहेगा आपसे, ये
Yes.
बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट है
Yeah.
कि MSMEs के पास नॉर्मली बजट कंस्ट्रेंट होता है, उनके मार्जिन्स बड़े लिमिटेड होते हैं. समटाइम्स दे वर्क विद अ say a working margin of 5% from companies to companies. Some companies must be working with a working margin around 10 to 15%. यहाँ पर एक प्रॉब्लम जो सबसे ज़्यादा MSMEs के साथ आती है वो है स्टॉक मैनेजमेंट. यहाँ पे एक प्रॉपर स्टॉक रजिस्टर्स नहीं बन पाते, रॉ मटेरियल आ रहा है, पाइल अप होता जा रहा है, होता
Yes.
जा रहा है, होता जा रहा है, कैपिटल ब्लॉक होती जा रही है और आउटफ्लो का कोई अकाउंट नहीं है. आउटफ्लो वही देखा जाता है जहाँ पे आपके बिल्स जो हैं वो डिस्पैच होते हैं. इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स को हम कैसे कवर कर सकते हैं?
yes, again, Lokesh ji, because extensively working with MSMEs myself, so therefore we have developed two very innovative ideas for this. One innovative idea we have implemented with this auto ancillary company, the MSME entity, which is having the turnover of 70 crores. What we did, that with front line 10 vendors, we have signed an agreement. That agreement is with the price increasing by 5%. The price at which we were sourcing, price we have increased by 5%. Another thing, we have also reduced the period of credit to 7 days. But we have said that you will maintain the stock for us. And whenever we need, we will give you only 3 days notice. Are you agree? Can you supply us on 3 days notice? We will give you 5% extra. 5% extra, whatever price which we were having with the 90 days, 70 days, 60 days credit, we are giving more.
All right.
But they are maintaining the stock for us. We are not maintaining, no more. Nothing, no stock. 3 days notice as per my production schedule, because ERP has been implemented by manufacturing MSMEs. Most
That's
of the
right.
manufacturing MSMEs with the turnover of more than 50 crores by this time have implemented ERP.
Yes, right.
So they know their production schedule.
That's right.
This is, and here, though we are paying 5% extra, still we are able to manage the stock in an innovative way, because we need not maintain the huge stock. And another idea, second idea which we have implemented is that to these 10 vendors, we have one more additional clause over there, that after every 3 months, whatever is the stock unutilized in our premises, that you will take back at 10% discount. And they have agreed to this condition also.
So
Now, there is no scrap for that particular raw material. This raw material is going back, because variety of things, even if you talk about iron, the size, the width, the perimeter and other parameters, then you have different types of, and sometimes what happens that orders are withdrawn by your client. Then what to do if stock is lying with you? Whether you will allow it to go to scrap or you will allow it to go back to your vendor.
That's right. So it will help you to reduce your losses in terms of the stock.
Why not?
Definitely. Sir, मेरा आपसे एक सवाल रहेगा बड़ा सिंपल सा. How can we forecast the cash flow accurately? कहीं ना कहीं जो हमारा forecast रहता है cash flow को लेके MSME में, वहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ी बहुत चूक रह जाती है, जिसकी वजह से हमारा इनफ्लो और आउटफ्लो में इम्बैलेंस हो जाता है और हमारी कंपनी को रन करने के लिए वेरिएबल कॉस्ट और ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट में भी प्रॉब्लम आती है. इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स को हम कैसे कम कर सकते हैं?
देखिए फंडामेंटली जो मेरा मानना है, आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ एंड you know, people who are running their own businesses, business owners, they are masters of their trade. They know what they are doing. They are running successful businesses. But I think कहीं ना कहीं जो मेरा experience रहा है, you know, having been in the corporate side and now an entrepreneur myself, I think when entrepreneurs are driving their own business, I think जो planning का quotient होता है, business plan का quotient, you know, making an operating plan, forecasting, etc. Somewhere I think we need to focus more on that and bring structures, processes, SOPs in place. You know, typically large structured organizations में ये होता है, कुछ teams होती हैं वहाँ पे, लेकिन business oriented, you know, and promoter driven businesses, SMBs, etc. कहीं ना कहीं somewhere, I think that, you know, what should I say, that granularity जो होनी चाहिए, जो rigor होना चाहिए, वो शायद और ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. और इसका एक ही आंसर है that you are only as good as your team is. So which means it is connected to another point, that how do you really build bandwidth beyond you? You know, in most promoter driven businesses and SMBs, and a lot of, you know, successful entrepreneurs are sitting in this room, I think one of the key things is how do you build that bandwidth, which means hiring people, but it's a chicken and egg situation. When you want to go and hire, you know, again hiring becomes a big challenge. So therefore, to maintain you know, processes, having you know, systems in place, you need good people. You need to have people and bandwidth beyond just you in the business, right? You need to have SOPs in place. So if you are able to invest and if you are sort of far-sighted around this, I think a lot of problems that people face in terms of business planning, financial planning, cash flows can be resolved. The other thing, just to add to what Garg was saying on a different note, I think most people would have also experienced a dynamic discounting you know, pattern in the industry, right? So let's say if I am working with you and you are a, you know, a large corporate sitting on a good balance sheet, I can actually tell you that, look, if you pay me early, I'll give you a CD. So,
This
so
is
that
a very
again,
traditional kind of
yeah. So this is again a new pattern that has emerged, and a lot of people don't mind paying, you know, 2% extra CD or a 3% extra CD, as we've seen, if you're getting paid early. And corporates also don't mind. If I am a large corporate sitting on good balance sheet, it's a good opportunity for me. I pay my vendors or I pay my suppliers early, and I don't mind, you know, enjoying that 2% discount.
That's wonderful. Any other questions from the forum? कोई सवाल पूछना चाहेगा, अपना हाथ खड़ा कर सकते हैं. All right. सर मेरा एक आखिरी सवाल रहेगा यहाँ पे. MSMEs के अंदर एक
I think there's a
major
question.
problem आती है.
There's a question.
MSMEs के अंदर एक और बड़ी मेजर प्रॉब्लम आती है, दैट इज ओवरहेड्स. कहीं ना कहीं हमारे ओवरहेड्स जो थे वो पाइल अप हो जाते हैं. इस तरह के ओवरहेड्स को हम कैसे कम कर सकते हैं जिससे हमारी वेरिएबल जो कॉस्ट होती है वो डिफर करती है और हमारे ऑपरेटिंग मार्जिन स्क्वीज हो जाते हैं. इस प्रॉब्लम को हम कैसे कम कर सकते हैं?
देखिए, हर एक बिजनेस में जो कॉस्ट मैनेजमेंट है, ओवरहेड्स है, या जो भी कैश फ्लो सिस्टम है, यू यूजुअली हैव अ CFO टू हैंडल दिस और अ फाइनेंस पर्सन. But MSMEs में या business owners में यही होता है, and all due regards to, you know, all the successful people in the room. I think somewhere you need to, again, I'll come back to the same thing, horses for courses. Have the right people, have the right resources. You know, even chartered accountants who are like extended CFOs for our businesses, utilize their potential. Work very closely with them. कभी-कभी क्या होता है जो मैंने देखा है, and again, don't get me wrong, but a lot of businesses become a little opaque. Transparency, even say a CA, and Garg would sort of agree with me, is like a doctor. If you don't tell the doctor what the problem is, the problem will never get resolved. So I think the idea is to be very, very transparent with your partners, with your you know, chartered accountant or with your finance team, and ensure that whatever you wish to do for your business, the right call is taken. Otherwise, what typically happens is you tend to keep everything around your chest. And there is too much happening in the entrepreneur's mind. You know, the entrepreneur is multi-hatting and, you know, doing multiple things. Sales भी आप देख रहे हो, marketing भी आप देख रहे हो, people भी आप देख रहे हो, manufacturing भी आप देख रहे हो. So I think somewhere the and maybe this is a different take that I have, somewhere the bandwidth of promoters or bandwidth of business owners need to be freed up. And that can only happen when you invest in teams. And that can only happen even if you don't have teams, let's say full-time team, you have extended teams, which means you have doctors and specialists like Garg Saab sitting on the other side of the table. You have to be completely transparent with them. And you have to make sure that whatever you wish to do for your business is very, very clearly articulated. The other is succession planning. How do you really train and ensure that the next generation which is there are absolutely on the ball and are able to carry the torch, better than what you've done. A lot of people at times, growth becomes limited because they themselves are, the limiting factor for the business. So I think if people can think beyond their own selves, invest in processes, invest in systems, invest in people, and invest in partners who can help them, and also mechanisms. So for instance, I told you, the escrow mechanism. Today, not too many people, I've been speaking to a lot of SMBs and business owners over the last couple of years. Not too many people know that an escrow mechanism can be useful for protecting your cash flow. So a lot of technology-based tools, a lot of new methods, etc., are available in the market. So the idea is to keep ourselves, open to these ideas, open to these mechanisms which are available, and do something about it.
That's right. मैं यहाँ पे एक बात ऐड करना चाहूँगा. I myself is a technical analyst working with a lot of companies. Plus, I'm an industrialist also. I'm also running an SME. And I've been doing this from last 13 years after my father gave me the business. मैं यहाँ पे एक चीज़ आपसे अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस के साथ आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहूँगा कि आपकी जो बैलेंस शीट होती है ना, वो आपकी कंपनी का आईना है. आप अपना ग्रोथ रेट जो है कंपनी का, वो एनुअल बेसिस पे 20% को मेंटेन कीजिए. यानी कि इसको हम बोलते हैं टेक्निकल टर्म में कैगर, कंपाउंडेड एवरेज ग्रोथ रिटर्न. जहाँ पर आप अपने बैलेंस शीट्स में 20% का कैगर मेंटेन करना शुरू कर देंगे, इवेंचुअली आप देखेंगे विद ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ 5 to 6 years आपकी टर्नओवर 100% से भी ऊपर चली जाएगी, विच विल हेल्प यू टू गो टू द मार्केट. यू कैन यूज द इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स टू टेक loans. You can talk to the companies that can help you to get external borrowings from international players, which will help you to get good ratings और आपको एक अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म बनाएगी. तो हमारा मेरे मेन एम जो आज इस पूरे फोरम का था वो ये था, पहले कॉस्ट मैनेजमेंट. दूसरी चीज़, हमें अपनी बैलेंस शीट्स को इतना अच्छी तरीके से डिज़ाइन करना है या इतनी अच्छी तरीके से उनको बनाना है कि हमारी जो ग्रोथ रेट है वो 20% एनुअली बेसिस पे क्लोज करे और मेंटेन करे, इर्रिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द पॉसिबिलिटीज़ कि हमें चैलेंजेस आते हैं. लेकिन अगर आप देखोगे तो इंडिया की भी ग्रोथ स्टोरी बहुत अच्छी चल रही है, जहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट भी बोल रही है कि हम लोग अच्छी तरीके से इकॉनमी में ग्रो कर रहे हैं. तो हमें कहीं ना कहीं अपनी कंपनीज को भी उसी प्लेटफॉर्म पे एक अच्छा मूवमेंट देना ही पड़ेगा. सो आई वुड लाइक टू क्लोज दिस सेशन ऑन SME कॉस्ट कंट्रोल मैनेजमेंट.
I was having a question. Yeah, there is a question, if you can allow me. Yeah, I am here. Yeah.
क्वेश्चन इज विद whom, मिस्टर
Yeah.
गर्ग और मिस्टर
Yeah.
गर्ग से है, किससे होगा आपका सवाल सर? क्वेश्चन इज फॉर whom?
For the entire
Yeah, for anybody can
Okay.
answer, no one. Okay. We have talked about cash flow. एक minute, sir. And is there any provision under SMEs के how to handle the bad debtors, जो पैसा पी गया, खा गया, अब दे नहीं रहा है, और वो भी बड़ा कॉरपोरेट है, उसके साथ में इंडिविजुअली आप फाइट नहीं कर सकते हैं. इसका कोई आप समाधान बता सकते
यू
हैं?
हैव अ वेरी वैलिड क्वेश्चन आउट हियर. काफ़ी बड़ी कंपनीज जो होती हैं छोटी कंपनियों को पी जाती हैं, जैसे आपने भी वर्ड यूज़ किया. यहाँ पे मैं गर्ग साहब से कहूँगा कि थोड़ी इस बात पे रोशनी डालें, बिकॉज ही इज़ फ्रॉम द लीगल साइड एंड ही इज़ द बेस्ट पर्सन टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन रिगार्डिंग दिस. गर्ग साहब.
देखो सर, जो आपका क्वेश्चन है ना, ये सबका दर्द है. और हमारे पास लीगली 3 रास्ते हैं. पहला रास्ता यह है कि हम सिविल कोर्ट में चले जाएं. दूसरा रास्ता है कि अगर कोई MSME एसोसिएशन बनी हुई है, उस एसोसिएशन के प्लेटफॉर्म पर या जिस चैम्बर कोई अगर वहाँ पर है, जिस चैम्बर की वो MSME मेंबर है, तो उस चैम्बर के प्लेटफॉर्म का जो रिजोल्यूशन फ्रेमवर्क है, उस रेजोल्यूशन फ्रेमवर्क से सॉल्व करें. तीसरा रास्ता है आईबीसी। आईबीसी में आप तभी जा सकते हैं जब 1 करोड़ रुपए से ज़्यादा आपको लेने हो। और चौथा रास्ता जो सबसे सस्ता है वो एमएससी फैसिलिटेशन काउंसिल का है, जिस रास्ते में 2 साल के अंदर 90% से ज़्यादा केस रिजॉल्व हो जाते हैं और 6 महीने में 60% से ज़्यादा केस रिजॉल्व हो जाते हैं, जहाँ पर आपकी एक्सटर्नल कॉस्ट कैपिटल सिटी को 3 बार विजिट करने की और उसके बाद 5,000 रुपये उस कैपिटल सिटी में फैसिलिटेशन काउंसिल को देने की और उसके बाद में आप 20,000 रुपये और जोड़ लें तो उसमें मतलब कि आपका पैसा वापस मिलने की पॉसिबिलिटी होती है। बट ये सिस्टम भी फुल प्रूफ नहीं है। 100% मैंने नहीं बोला सर, 90% केसेस एमएससी फैसिलिटेशन काउंसिल से रिजॉल्व हो जाते हैं। अगर आप 10% में हैं तो देखिए वो लीव द मोस्ट बैड 1 क्लाइंट एवरी ईयर, ये आउट ऑफ बॉक्स आइडिया है और इस आइडिया को अभी तक मैंने सिर्फ अपनी प्रैक्टिस में अडॉप्ट किया है, बाकी जगह अभी किसी क्लाइंट को नहीं बताया। आज पहली बार मैं किसी फोरम पर इस आइडिया को बता रहा हूँ। मैंने इस आइडिया को कोरोना पीरियड में यूज़ करना शुरू किया था और एवरी ईयर आई यूज़ टू ड्रॉप द लोएस्ट 10% जो बैड पे मास्टर है कि ओके नमस्ते, गो टू एनी अदर, आई एम नॉट फॉर यू।
देखिए, आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी ब्रेव कॉल टू ड्रॉप क्लाइंट्स। आई थिंक इट्स अ कैच 22
सर बहुत ब्रेव नहीं है, ये बहुत ब्रिलियंट डिसीजन है।
प्रैक्टिकल है, बिल्कुल प्रैक्टिकल।
दिस इज ब्रिलियंट डिसीजन।
But it's a very valid concern that you have because contract enforceability in India is one of the lowest. What will you do? I mean,
सर क्वांटिटी पे ध्यान ना दीजिएगा,
हाँ,
थोड़ा क्वालिटी पे दे दीजिए।
right.
क्वालिटी मेंटेन करेंगे तो आपकी भी लाइफ में भी क्वालिटी बनी रहेगी।
मैं तो कहूँगा आप escrow use कीजिए। Sorry, I'm selling my solution here, but at the end of the day, our experience has been if you insist the counterparty to use a mechanism like this, at least there is a guardrail, you know, for managing collections and payments. But yeah, I think to Garg Saab's point, I think absolutely it's a very pragmatic approach that, you know, if you can drop the rogue clients that you have, that's the best way to do it, and I think it sets a precedent in the market. People realize over a period of time.
आजकल तो बैंक्स भी बैंक क्लाइंट्स को ड्रॉप कर देते हैं, एनपीए राइट अप करते हैं, नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट्स को किताबों के अंदर 5 साल के अंदर खत्म कर देते हैं।
Correct.
तो हम तो फिर भी अपना खुद का बिजनेस चला रहे हैं, तो हमें तो ये प्रैक्टिस अडॉप्ट कर ही लेनी चाहिए। एनी अदर सजेशन, एनी क्वेश्चन प्लीज?
हाँ सर, देखिए जो माइक्रो यूनिट है वो एलिजिबल है और स्मॉल यूनिट एलिजिबल है। मीडियम यूनिट इज नॉट एलिजिबल फॉर समाधान, एमएसएमई समाधान। और पहली बात
उसी की टाइम लिमिट पूछ रहा था। सपोज जैसे आज 2023 है, कोई 2020 के ड्यूज पड़े हुए हैं, पार्टी कहती है हाँ कर देंगे, उसने किया नहीं अभी तक, तो उसके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं? कोई टाइम लिमिट उसका फिक्स है क्या?
हाँ सर, 3 इयर्स लिमिटेशन एक्ट में 3 साल की टाइम लाइन है सर।
वो तो नॉर्मल है ही सबको।
लिमिटेशन एक्ट 3 इयर्स टाइम लाइन, दैट इफ यू हैव नॉट आस्क्ड फॉर योर मनी विद इन 3 इयर्स, देन योर entitlement to get your money expires.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you lose your rights to recover them.
Yes, but there is a way out.
Achha.
That if suppose you have supplied the goods in 2020, 23 is over, in 24 now you want, if during this intermittent period you got some confirmation about the debit and credit, then this 3 years limitation will be counted from that day.
Right. I mean, some confirmation of the payment कि भी मैंने इतने तो देने हैं. Presently, I am not in a position to pay, but I will pay.
Yes.
So from 3 years
from that day, from
that date. Okay. वो जिसकी मन में बेईमानी होती है वो देता ही नहीं ऐसी लेटर तो.
वो तो सर देखो ब्लैक शीप से तो पीछा छुड़ाना ही है.
देखिए आप इंटेंट को, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट, बिकॉज अगर इंटेंट में ही खोट है,
इंटेंशन में ही फर्क है उसके, तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
एनीथिंग अबाउट इंटेंट. एंड आई
Yes,
थिंक
true.
सी यू विल हैव इन एनी एम्पेरिकल डेटा सजेस्ट कि कोई भी यूज केस में आप देख लो 10% लोग ऐसे होंगे जिनका इंटेंट ही खराब होगा. अब क्या कर सकते हैं?
Thank you, Garg Saab. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, moderator of the session, Mr. Lokesh Uppal. Thank you so much, Dr. Ajay Garg and Mr. Subhrangshu Neogi. Thank you. I must say a very interactive and very effective session. We'll just take a moment. May I request Ms. Ambika to kindly join us onto the stage and present a memento to the moderator of the session and also to the speakers of the session. Ladies and gentlemen, we have yet another session. Please be with us, and it's going to be an extremely interesting session. But before that, we once again thank our panelists. A huge round of applause. Thank you so much. And requesting Ms. Ambika to kindly join us onto the stage. Also requesting Mr. Sandeep Ray to kindly join us onto the stage and present the memento to the panelists of the session. Thank you, Mr. Lokesh Uppal. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we quickly take this moment to also thank our supporters from Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. May I invite on stage Mrs. Sapna Mehra, who is the Zonal Head Sales. May I request you, ma'am, to kindly join us onto the stage. And requesting Mr. Sandeep Ray and Ms. Ambika to kindly present a memento to Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. Requesting Ms. Sapna Mehra, who is the Zonal Head Sales, to Would you like to share your thoughts? Thank you.
So first of all, a very good afternoon, very warm good afternoon to each and everybody who's here. And love to be a part of this, interesting, enterprising people out here. And also would like to say that I hope you have heard the name of Utkarsh. Now it is more known as Utkarsh rather than Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. So we'll take 2 minutes in terms of just introducing what these small finance banks which have been brought into the banking industry. First of all, we know that the banking industry started with PSU banks, and then the private sector banks, then MNC banks. Umbrella of small finance bank. So let me just have it very clear that even these banks fall in the category of private sector banks. Just like HDFC, ICICI, the way they have come up, like HDFC started with Housing Development Finance Corporation. So similarly, we have also originated from Utkarsh Microfinance. So from a NBFC MFI, our MD CEO promoter sir is from ICC Bank. He has been there as an AGM, and then he started his own company called Utkarsh Microfinance in 2009. And then we got a license, 182 contenders were there. These banks were formed under Raghuram Rajanji Nachiket More committee with the idea and with a horizon that, with a binding that 50% of the loans needs to be below 25 lakhs. So that probably coming out from the idea of what happened, Nirav Modi cases and Kingfisher cases, so coming probably from that. And so out of 82 contenders, there were just 10 entities who got this license of forming a bank. So we got the license at 4th number. So just want to introduce with a particular bouquet of products. I understand this is basically more of MSME and more of loan portfolio discussions which is happening. But whatever goes and say, nothing goes without a saving or a fixed deposit. So just would like to tell that 7.5% is what we are offering on a saving account, and 9.35 to a senior citizen in terms of fixed deposit, and have come up with a particular product which is unique in the banking industry. Like I have joined this bank from HDFC Bank. So I was a cluster head there, and then there was a zonal position here. So I applied for it in the initial stages of 2016 once we got this in principle license, and then we got the principal license, and then the journey is going on. In terms of unique product which I was talking about, it is for a proprietorship and individual, wherein we are the only bank which is offering interest on a current account. Interest on a current account, which is as high as 7.5%. And let me tell you, as per the illustration made, so the customers who are able to keep 14,50,000, as per the illustration, they are able to earn 1 lakh in their current account. So this is one unique proposition in the banking industry. And other banks, you will hear that they are, if you just go out in the market, they will say, no, other banks are also giving it. But they are doing it as a sweeping through FD. So the two disadvantages wherein fixed deposit, you don't earn any interest for 7 days, and then there is a TDS. But as we are offering saving interest rate, so there is no TDS which comes into picture, as well as you are able to earn it on daily basis, daily day and balance would fetch you this, and if you're not able to maintain it even for a day, there are no charges. So it's a nil maintenance, interest bearing account. So would be a plea to all that do look forward. We have a counter right, across this, and do look forward for your references. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, heading towards our final discussion. And please join me in welcoming the very dynamic Mr. Vinod Pandita, who is the CEO of Perception Management Consulting Private Limited. Mr. Pandita is not just a CEO, he is a success coach with a passion for helping companies and SMEs reach new heights. Today, he will be sharing invaluable insights on how businesses can grow and prosper in an ever-changing landscape. Please put your hands together as we welcome Mr. Vinod Pandita. A very warm welcome to you.
Am I audible? Yes. Okay, thank you. Thanks, sir. So very good afternoon, everyone. I was asking my friend Sandeepan in the morning that why did you keep my session at the end? Then I realized that I think this is an opportunity for me again, because we always look for an opportunity to create an impact at the end, though a lot of my friends have left after lunch. But I would like all of you to just get little energized for this half an hour, 45-minute session. I won't take much time, but I want to be very specific because all of us are here, we are all entrepreneurs, and I'm sure that you are all here for some value, and I'm here to deliver some value to all of you. And today is our finale of SMB Connect. I know Sandeepan for the last 10 years now, and I think he has done a phenomenal job this time, and I wish him all the best. And thank you very much, Sandeepan, for this opportunity and giving me, because we went to Ludhiana as well as Chandigarh. I was with you, and this is the third session I'm doing with SMB Connect. And we have a partnership where all the MSMEs who are actually connected with SMB Connect. So we have a company, we are a consulting firm. I will talk about it towards the end. But right now, I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to really make this session more powerful for all of you so that you can take away something from this session. And because I'm a consultant, I'm a trainer, so it's not a speaking session, it is more of a training session for all of you, and I hope that you will take it as what I'm trying to deliver here. So the topic today is empowering MSMEs, roadmap to lasting growth and profitability. See, because I say that for the last 27 years, non-stop, without taking even a single holiday, in my career, when I started my entrepreneurship at the age of 26, I worked with top manufacturing companies, Bharat Forge, Hero Honda, and Trafag Instruments, Switzerland, just for 3.5 years, and then I started my own journey because I was frustrated with my suppliers, because I was in purchase. I was a supplier quality assurance engineer and assistant manager those days in 1996. And that is my story, and that is how I started my entrepreneurial journey when I started, moonlighting with my suppliers, where I wanted to help them to really get away from that defect, the product defects. Our manufacturing line used to be getting stopped every now and then I realized that what is the problem? What is it? Is it the defects that the supplier who is supplying me the products and components, and still, I'm not able to really manufacture well in time? It was because of two things. One was quality, and another was delivery issues. And the core crux problem was the cash flow management, where Mr. Ajay Garg, Dr. Ajay Garg, and the panelists, talked about it. That was the problem with my suppliers. So I thought that I took a pledge that, okay, see, I'm an engineer, I started my journey. Then I thought, might as well help these people, help my suppliers rather than working in an organization and cribbing about it every day and day out, just waiting for my salary to come and not getting my intellectual freedom to really do what I wanted to do in my company. That is how I started my journey. So the first myth and social hypnosis which we all go through is that, you know, we always believe in life, especially in India, this is our cultural misfit, you know, how we are brought in our schools, and because the education system is really, you know, I don't want to say anything because I also have come from there. So the risk is certain and success is uncertain. So this is basically has been put in our mind कि risk नहीं लेना है, risk है, business नहीं करना है, ये नहीं करना है. आज भी अगर 20 साल का भी एक entrepreneur जिसने entrepreneurship 20 साल से कर रहा है, वो भी आज ये सोचता है कि यार